This Christmas sack is perfect for beginners. The pattern includes a quilted and non-quilted version, and at the end I'll show you an idea on how to personalise it. I'll link below the pattern that has all the details you need, and if this is your first time printing a PDF pattern, you can see the video tutorial linked below. To start, fold your fabric in half on the grain line and place your paper pattern pieces on top, lining up the grain line parallel to the selvage edge. Pin the paper pieces onto your fabric and cut around them. If you're quilting your Christmas sack, also cut out your wadding and cut both a little bit larger than the pattern pieces. Temporarily pin together each outer fabric piece to each wadding piece while you baste them in place. Make sure the wrong side of the outer fabric is facing the wadding. You can do this with safety pins or by hand stitching some basting stitches. Remember to mark on your fabric your quilting start line. We will only quilt below this. I highly recommend a walking foot and a machine quilting needle. This handy guide clicks straight into your walking foot and helps you find the next line of quilting. You can choose any quilting style you like. Vertical lines are a great simple option. I like to distance the quilting lines 2 centimeters apart. Quilt individually the pieces of the outer fabric to your wadding pieces. When your quilting is complete, place your paper pattern piece back onto the quilted fabric and cut around. I also like to cut back any excess wadding on the top, sides and bottom of each piece. This will help remove any excess bulk from the seams. Whether you're quilting or not quilting, we can now sew the side seams. With right sides facing, pin the outer fabric pieces together and sew along the edges with a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Remember to leave the gaps between the notches. Repeat for the lining fabric without the gaps. Press open the new seams. If you've quilted, you won't need the next turn and stitch step. For the non-quilted version, tuck each seam under itself and press it in half. Edge stitch each of these folded seams. For both versions, sew the bottom edge of the outer fabric with a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Repeat on the lining fabric, remembering to leave the gap at the bottom. Keep the lining fabric with right sides facing, but turn out the outer fabric so the wrong sides are facing. You can fix the corners of the outer fabric with a point turner or even a chopstick. Now place the outer fabric inside the lining fabric. Align the top edges using the side seams and pin in place. Sew along the top edge with a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Pull the outer fabric out. You should now have a long extension of the outer and lining connected. Press this middle seam open. Find the gap in the bottom of the lining and pull the sack through. I like to start with the furthest piece of fabric and gently ease it through. Now point out the corners of the lining. You can push the lining inside the outer and check everything fits nicely. Then find the gap we left along the bottom edge of the lining and pin it closed. Edge stitch along the gap. Now you can push all the lining inside the outer fabric. Press the top edge, ensuring no lining is peeking over, and pin in place. Stitch along the top edge with a 0.5cm seam allowance. This helps the lining stay in place. Using the side notches as a guide, mark and stitch the channel lines the whole way around the sack. For this project, I recommend using pre-made drawstring. You can use ribbon, tape, cord, lace, or even twine. Using a safety pin or a threading tool, feed one drawstring through the channel the whole way round the sack, exiting at the same side you entered. Starting at the other side of the sack, feed your second drawstring the whole way round the sack. And your beautiful Christmas sack is ready. I like to tie the ribbons in big bows. This was my little quilted version, which sits so beautifully with presents peeking out. But I think my favourite version is the personalised one. I'll link the embroidery pattern for this winter vine name below. Please let me know if you have any questions, and if you've made a Christmas sack, I would love to see.